All right, we're live. Live
Yes.
with Dallas. Dallas is out in the field.
Yep. I was kind of on my way to Northeast Dragway and had a fender bender.
Hardest working sanctioning body president in the land.
Maybe I should take my hat off so you can see my face. Yeah.
So who
Well,
all we have
I'm
in
here
here?
with the dome light on.
We got JB's Little Shop, Junk Car Willie, Buff's Garage, White Trash Motorsports, Mostly Old Parts Ron Ward, a.k.a. the voice of the No Name Nationals.
And he was quite the voice.
We have Insane Illusion Fabrication, Big Block 402. I got a piece of your piston ring, Steven, right here. Rob's Rods and Streetcars. Irish Outlaws in here. We have Unfinished Project, Dart Sport, Square Body Stuff Chad, Because Race Truck, Perpetual Projects. Yeah, it's appropriate that Square Body and Perpetual Projects post right together. They had a contagious drive shaft breakage thing going on in the pits.
Yeah.
Dean Stevenson, Daddy's Money Garage is here.
Maybe that's better.
Dust Devil Brian is here. Poor Boy's Garage. He says Troll Garage is here.
Troll Garage.
Bubba Ayers, First Responder. Let's see here. Bad Tree says Howdy Heathens. Let's see here. Frankenstein C20. John from Daddy's Money Garage is here. Leighton, the guy who brought our welder and tried to help save the day for some guys that broke some stuff. He really helpful. Let's see. Thumper's in here. Thumper, the sweaty fat guy.
Thumper.
All right.
I missed you at the No Name Nationals, Thumper.
I know. We were looking for you. Colleen Tebow is in the house. Stephen Holtz, who's not afraid to drive his 68 Fairlane from Texas, change his center section out, drag race, and drive back.
Yeah, Stephen Holtz
English.
His just drive it is like 100% honest.
Yeah, he means it.
Yeah.
All right. First Responder Garage. He made it. My Aunt Nancy's in the house, I see. Roadkill Customs, Buzz. Don English is here. All right. Got a super chat from Bad Tree. Blake just wanted to tell everybody that he got me with a roll at Lambert's. I knew it wasn't safe sitting in sight line from the Heathen table, but it was a blast. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
I'm sorry I missed Lambert's.
Thank you.
I was actually filling water barriers when you guys were at Lambert's having fun.
Yeah. It was a fun full house, and we'll get it straightened out for next year for you, man. Let's see here. Rapid Transit, Robert Magny, Charger 383 Mopar, Burnout Competition winner.
Yeah. And look at his thumbnail. It's the Burnout Competition.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's quite a picture. I think that's Jed's angle. My angle was just off the other side. Mrs. Dust Devil is here. Yeah, I got new contact pictures for a lot of these folks, and that we just walk around in the pits taking a couple pictures here and there. Let's see. My mom's here. John Cope is here. Lars is in the house. Torque Racing Productions. Boy, that guy threw the house at it. I tip my cap to him.
Yeah.
A lot of people threw the house at it. Ron English is here. I think we have the whole English family accounted for now. Outfits Garage. Brewer Racing. Those guys brought a pair of B bodies. We're taking no prisoners out there on the track.
I just like how slick he was at stick shift or at that at shifting that 4-speed.
Oh yeah, he's done that once or twice. You can tell. Ryan Barsness is here. Heavens Mopar Scott with an S.
I'm wondering if that's like a G-Force or a Jericho or something now.
I don't know. What do you have in that thing, Mr. Brewer? Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly, Rich Rusnick is in here. Travis, Tom Cook, the James and James Show. I think I've finally caught up greeting people. I'll tell you what, that's a pretty full house. So hello, everyone. Dallas and I thought we would do a live, just kind of a catch up, a recap, a debrief, after action report, whatever you want to call it. I just now got my studio set back up. As you can see, the orange paper has no number on it right now, but that will change. It'll get a number again eventually. Jackie Abbott's in the house. Thanks for letting Patrick come out and play this past weekend. Jason Falk, Punisher Lamons. Got a big crew here. Well, most of you guys in the chat were there. And quite an event. Dallas, do you just have anything that you want to mention? Any reflections? Anything that... Because, I mean, I know that I didn't get to watch much of the event. I missed a lot of the event running around, but I sure caught a lot of it, too, and it was great.
I kind of was the same way. I was probably worse than you. I don't know. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Thanks for bearing with us on Friday while we were trying to get everything readjusted with a short staff at the track, and I was filling in like all the spots. So just to get the event to go off well. That was one thing that John and I sacrificed a lot to make sure the event went off. That's why I missed the Lambert's car show as we were filling the water barriers for the burnout contest. And I knew I wanted to be at Lambert's, but I also knew that if we didn't get the water barriers filled, we wouldn't have a burnout contest. So
yep.
Just a lot of overcoming short, little problems.
Daddy's Money Garage, he sent a super chat and says, we accompanied Cody Detweiler to a large landlocked body of fresh water.
Is that Whistling Diesel's real name?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Blake says best time ever. There were a lot of people had a really good time. I had a good time. It was just really, really busy. Hopefully we can get some administrative stuff ironed out a little bit. And next year will be Dallas and I can have a little bit more fun. Although I'm not complaining. It was a great time.
Oh, I had a good time. I didn't have a lot of time to spend with anyone, right? No one person.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the truth. But I got to tell you, I really enjoyed the event. The feedback has been fantastic. Don't worry, we've already been talking with everybody, trying to get things ironed out better for next year. I got a list of things that our tech guy, Deke Denny, wants to work on the off season so that everybody's better prepared to pass tech, and we're going to be better prepared for you to come to tech. So that's in the works. We're going to iron that out. But overall, it ran really good. We had a skeleton crew to work with over there at Jeffers. Really, that was about the smallest staff for an event that size. But other than a few things that were really tough and falling through the cracks, it went off pretty well. I will say this, just a couple things people mentioned. The gate at the event was actually pretty good. We talked with the woman that tallied everything, the one that runs the gate. She said the gate was good. Dallas said that. You said that was a lot of spectators there.
Well, that was literally the most I'd seen in an event at Jeffers.
Yeah. Now, what people don't realize is, and what we discovered at this first event, and what she discovered and thought was interesting, the regular crowd who comes out to Jeffers was still there. They were in the stands. They were watching, right? But all the people who came in to see their favorite content creators, they were all in the pits. So the gate was good, but you didn't see it, in the stands as much. The pits were swarming. The pits were packed. And by the way, yes, TaylorMade Muscle, we know that the hurricane, how much damage did you have? Because I know the NSB guys, they had a lot. But, with their situation, it was one where they could get away. So I hope you guys didn't get it too awfully bad. Yeah, Mo Parral in the house. Glad you're here, man. Overall, I'm really pleased. Nobody got hurt. We had no injuries. I saw 2 people trip and fall foot racing Saturday night. But other than that, nobody got hurt. Yeah, TaylorMade says they lost power for a day. Not too bad. A little bit of roofing. Yeah, it could have been worse. So anyway, we're glad it wasn't worse for you. But no, nobody got hurt. An engine did get hurt. This is actually a piece of Big Block 402's piston ring somebody picked up off the track. That's a pretty big kaboom when there's piston ring on the track.
I picked up a lot of oil.
Yeah, and Jed Scott, of course, snapped the output shaft and tail shaft housing clean in 2 on his Charger.
That was so weird looking, right? It's like it split, like you took a saw to it and just cut it all off.
It split right where the yoke slides in. At the end of the yoke is where it split, right there, right in that spot.
Yeah, it had the tail shaft, it had the housing, all of it was split straight down from there.
Yeah, it was just like it was snapped in 2. Yeah, it was interesting. Good breakage. Of course, he was in the running for the worst oil down until Steven hung a rod out of the side of the block. But everybody walked away with a smile, and everybody was safe. We didn't have any problem. None of the problem people showed up, which was great. And because of that, we didn't have a single. There were no arguments. There were no fights. There was no strife. No problems at all. Not a one. It was wonderful.
Here's something I found really interesting. A Big Block Chevrolet 402 blows up just like a 632.
Big Grenade are pretty good.
Yeah, he got it all right.
I need the picture, the video that Andrew Nelson took. He's got, I don't know if it's Calvin or somebody, but they're sliding like surfing in the oil down the groove.
Yeah.
They got it cleaned up, though. Nobody got out of control. So all of that stuff is great. Buzz says, best pits I've ever been in and felt like I knew everyone. Yeah, that was the coolest part of it. I've never been to a track where I knew everybody there and only maybe a few people I didn't. Usually it's the other way around. I'll know a few people there and not recognize the rest. Because I tried to check people in as they got there Thursday and early Friday and didn't have to ask a name all day. I recognized them, and the very few that I didn't, I recognized their car. Let's see, B&R must be in the house. Lunar's here. Spencer's Food Reviews. Daddy's Money Garages. I wish Brian Cabral came. Yeah, we had reserved seating for him. He and his crew.
Well, he and his crew also recognized that they had their own seating for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. We had a good chuckle putting that up. Dallas and I were out there for 2 days ahead of time, and it was good. It all came together. There's a lot of things that we couldn't control getting together early, like sand delivery, barrier delivery. We just pulled it off with the water barriers, but when it all came together, it was great. Unfinished Project is asking who had the station wagon. That would be Useful Entertainment is the name of the channel. I believe his name's Marty. Mopar House will be there next year with the Lark and the SRT8. Great. Everybody's saying what they're going to bring next year. I think that's fantastic. I can't see one place that we're not going to have an event even more booming than we had this year. So one thing is yes, the event, it's got to be bigger. It has to be bigger. I don't see any way it won't be. But again, like this year, we will not let it get ruined. I know that there are a lot of influences and money and things like that tend to ruin an event. We don't want that to happen. And we were very careful not to let that happen this year. So you can expect that we will do the same thing to make sure the event keeps its mission, that it's the national event for you guys, and that you're not just there filling entry fees. You guys will be the show next year like you were this last year.
And you guys put on a hell of a show.
Oh
Y'all
my
deserve a pat on the
gosh.
back.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys brought it. The reports I've heard are amazing. What people are saying, what they're comparing this event to. Um, this is the stuff I've read this week. I'm not just, blowing smoke here. We're canceling our plans for Sick Week to attend this. We're canceling our plans for Duct Tape Drags to attend. I mean, just really. So people recognize this as being a good perennial event, and it's great. Shop 209 says, so Cletus won't be there? I said, well, we have the Cletus. We have Cousin Cletus. Cousin Cletus gave his own award, too, for his choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cletus brought his own trophy, so he really brought it.
He did. And a grill. He had his grill going on. He's going to get LSV put on the grill. Yeah, Sick Week sold out in under 30 minutes. That's great. I think it's great that we got all these different shows. But this is going to be the YouTube Content Creator Super Bowl. There's only one, and this is it. And we basically will wind up scaling up a little bit of everything from this year, but it won't get ruined. J-Bo says is the best time ever. If J-Bo had a good time, mission accomplished. I missed getting my J-Bo shirt. You know what? I actually missed getting my event shirt. Isn't that terrible? But I got to catch up with Schultz on some anyway, so that'll all work out. Oh, look at this, though. This is some good news. Blake says, and Blake is a real braggart racer. He says, I was an 8th mile naysayer, but this event changed my mind on that. Just as fun. That's good to hear. Ron Ward likes the group photo. Yeah, Dallas rode up in the bucket to take that group photo. That was wild. That was really
I did not like heights.
Dallas he would live in that bucket if he could. Wouldn't you, Dallas? You just take your blanket, your pillow, and just put that thing 100 feet up and sleep there if you could, wouldn't you?
Barkley kept taking it higher, and he started laughing every time they would go higher.
Yeah, Ron English has borrowed Jethro's shirt. My dog has a No Name National shirt, and I don't. Isn't that terrible? Daddy's Money Garage says my orange board is blank, and I have no idea how much time we have. Yes, we don't really yet either. We still need to firm up the date and everything, and Dallas has a little bit more time left on the season, and then that's when we're going to iron it out. But anyway, don't stress. We've got it. You guys will be the first to know.
It will be
right here.
Yeah, it will happen. It just depends where and when.
Yeah, see, Cletus is playing in 2023. Everybody is. Hey, there's Deke. This is our tech guy, Deke Denny. Deke says, you know it was a great event when the folks whose cars broke or ran like crap still have big smiles on their faces. That's the thing about this event that I think is so cool. The things that the hardcore racers who are all just about racing and competition complain about, you guys took in stride, right? Like things like track cleanup or things getting slowed down. You guys are like, that's okay. We're cool. We're having the time of our lives. We're not stressed about it.
Yeah, they were the opposite because they're like, oh, it's time to pull out the camera
and the
shoot a short.
The attitudes were great. I mean, everybody there had such a good attitude. It went so far. I can't tell you how important that was. Everybody had a good attitude about it. If something didn't go right, man, y'all just did what you do. You make lemonade from the lemons and roll with it. It was great. We had the best crowd of people there. That bottom 1% that all of YouTube has stirred in it did not show up, and it was wonderful. SRP, no, Vizar did not make it. It was going to be health dependent. It was 50-50 all the way through. We will see about next year. I know he wanted to be there, and we'll absolutely see what can happen for next year. I know that some of that too, it didn't help that without Andy getting his truck, it changed the situation with the motor coach and the trailers and things like that. So we will definitely try again. I know Vizar would like to, and I'm sure I'll be live with him sometime throughout the year. We'll talk about it with him. Brian says we'll have to use the Hubble Space Telescope to take the photo next year. Well, that might be cool. Blake wants to know if you took a selfie while you were up there.
No. I was trying to just keep from crapping my pants.
William says, what was the final car count? The track actually announced 105. I think that's what was actually running. There were more there. I don't think they counted the bikes. There were stuff being shown. So the car count was somewhere a little north of that, probably a little north of 105.
And there was some cars that had no intention of racing and that didn't even get
Right.
a tech card, right? So
Exactly. So that yeah. But the track said that many, so that's probably what went down the track. Let's see here. Clint Street Machines here. NSB Custom Cars. Glad you could make it. Lawton is asking same location next year. To be determined. But it could be. It could very well be. There's a lot of things up in the air.
Yeah, I'd like it to be, but to be honest, we talked about this at the beginning. Larry Jeffers was trying to sell that track, and if he sells it, then we don't know. The other thing is, if Larry doesn't sell it, he bought the IHRA, so I don't know. I'm sure he's not going to want to carry an AHRA section, but that doesn't mean that we can't have the event there without an AHRA section. It's just everything's kind of up in the air at the moment. We're going to see how it all, I guess, boils down.
Well, the good news is that I can't imagine a new track owner would not want to say, hey, here's an event that's now seasoned and established that wants to come here. And you know what you're getting, right?
Right.
I mean, there were two observations that we had on Sunday that the track staff told us about, but you notice right off the bat. Number one, the track was cleaner than when we got there. I mean, there was nothing on the entire pits. Nothing. You guys didn't leave any trash anywhere. Cleanest I've ever seen the pits the day after of any track in my life. I was super impressed with that. Just nothing. The other was you guys ate the concession stand out of House and Home, and that makes a track money. So they were happy with that. I mean, the line to concessions never ran out. James and James said we struggled all weekend, still had a blast. Yes, although that Rusty Nova still did throw down some numbers.
Oh yeah, the last couple passes of the day, that thing was on. They must have got it ironed out. I kind of wonder.
They did.
What it was. Was it the fuel pump?
I don't know. We'll let James answer, but I want to say it was a micro switch or something. I don't know. Yeah, Buff's Garage, Big Mike's Hoopty Bar, Mr. BTP stickers. Yeah, we may have to help out with that. So Roy Boy is asking an interesting question. Did No Name Nationals 1 meet or exceed expectations? As a spectator, it was terrific. Dallas, you go first. Did it meet or exceed your expectations?
I would have to say it exceeded it because, everybody was pre-registered. So you had an idea of how many cars were going to be there. And you knew what kind of cars there were going to be because you watched them on the channel. But the one thing I didn't expect was where everybody kind of knew everybody. And that was something that was, you brought with them and it all worked well.
Yeah. I gotta say, in some ways, it met expectations for me because I expected it. In some ways, it exceeded it. Like I expected that we would have a good crowd like that. At least 100 cars. I expected that. What exceeded my expectations is how good everybody got along. I really thought, you get that many strong personalities in one place for, 2.5 days. You're going to have a little bit of problem to deal. No, nothing. It was great. We didn't have the first argument in the pits or anything. Everybody got along great. Nothing got broken. Nothing got stolen. Everything was left cleaner than they found it. You guys were just model participants. I mean, we couldn't ask for any better in that regard. Yeah, Shop 209 says an event like this is about being there. Agree.
Well, and everybody worked so hard to get there, right? And
yeah.
It's like you didn't want to ruin it for everything that you worked for.
Let's see here. Scrolling down through the comments. Comments are coming in pretty good. Try to catch up. Trying to catch up with everything. Yeah, people are trying to find those other tracks. Well, I mean, we know where the tracks are, and it's going to be great. We're gonna find out where it'll be. We'll make an announcement. Probably try to figure that out. Obviously, by the end of the year, something like that. We don't need to nor want to promote it quite as long this next time. We obviously promoted it at least 70 days too long this year. But we did that because we needed the No Name 500 guys to have all the time they could to get established and get their channels together.
Well, plus nobody knew it was coming, right? Like,
right.
So they had to finish a car or get a project ready to go for the event. And if you know it's coming, it's a little bit different because you can plan for it a year out or whatever. But this one, you didn't even know it was happening.
Right. So next year, it's coming. It's coming. About pretty close when it's going to be. So just go ahead and be getting ready for it. But we won't spend more time because the thing about YouTube is you don't want the people to get all sideways. And we promoted it for 264 days, and we would have been better off promoting it for about 190.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Perpetual Projects. Anyone remember what the No Name 500 award was called? That's the Cinderella Trophy. That was the working title for it in the very beginning, and we kept that. Speaking of, there's Buck, the first Cinderella Trophy winner.
Excuse me.
Let's see. Yeah, the comments are pretty good. White Trash Motorsports. Boy, Sam really brought it. Yeah, I'll tell you what. These guys worked so hard. I just could not be more impressed with the effort. Track and Travel with Rick. That's Jerry Racing. That's the old man. And Ricky's driving the Duster. You guys ought to feel 2 cars next year.
That's one thing I want to highlight. That 28-10-5 race, the Jerry Racing guys jumped in, and Ricky just murdered somebody on the tree and ended up winning a race by being down. Like, he was definitely the underdog.
Yep. Speaking of that, shout out to Roland, Torque Racing Productions, on that 28-10-5. Roland actually drew the buy run on the chip draw. But because Sam had to get fuel and couldn't make the chip draw, I asked Roland. Again, it was his choice. I said, would you graciously accept a pairing in the first round with Sam because he couldn't make the chip draw? And Roland didn't even hesitate. He said, absolutely. Now, you're accepting a pairing with a car that is faster. That's character. That says a lot about him. And that's the kind of people that we had there.
Well, just like Sam he recommended swapping lanes with Redbeard, knowing that Redbeard was going to trap like 30 miles an hour faster in a lane that just had got oiled down, right?
Yeah.
And normally at a 28-10-5 race, no one will change lanes. You got to run
Yeah.
the lane you got, right? And that's even what Barkley was saying. Like in my races, they don't do that. Well, you know what? At No Name Nationals, they do.
Yeah.
And that just says a lot about the character of the people that we have.
Brewer said they were bolting parts on and loaded on the trailer to leave. There was a lot of that going on. I know that Duddy's Adventures, his 69 4-door Dart, he fired it up, drove it to the end of his driveway, put it on the trailer, and came to the event. That is all the testing Duddy did. And that car ran 8.0s all weekend. Good for him.
No, it didn't run 8.0s. You don't know what number it ran. We had the clocks off, remember?
Well, for the bracket. But you know what? His car techs for that. Yeah, Bigfoots and Mopars. If you saw that beautiful Cornet RT running around the pits, it was Mark's. I think Mark should just make slow laps around the pits all day, even if he's not racing or getting in the lanes, because that car is just so good. That car is so good looking. It looked better in person than it does on video, and that's really uncommon. Most of our cars don't look as good up close. His actually looks really good up close, too. It's a beautiful car.
And it looked really good going down the track, too.
Let's see. Frankenstein C20, glad he could make it.
Yeah, I'm glad he rolled in. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, I know. That was really cool. You know what he reminds me of is he was in the No Name 500. He gets his subs, and then he says, hey, man, he had some reasons. He needed to take some time off from YouTube. I'm like, that's cool. Good luck. We hope we see you there. All this time later, he just reappears right before the event. Okay, got my subs, got the truck done, and I'll be there. It's like, wow, we didn't expect that. That was really cool. Yeah, they dubbed it the Taco Express. Yeah, so Ron Ward, he says, thank you to all who provided merch for us to give away during the downtime. Kept things moving. Everybody was thrilled. Yeah, I agree. That was a lot of fun. I love the stuff that Ron Ward did, like a foot race to get your headlights turned on, stuff like that. That was so much fun. Track staff was thoroughly entertained by that, too.
You know, Ron and I came up with that just because Destroyer Eric delivered those first, 3 shirts or whatever. And Ron's like, man, how do you expect we should give these away? And I'm like, I don't know. I was just thinking, I have no idea. So we just kind of started coming up with that stuff. And Ron got to be really good at it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was great. I really, I had a lot of fun putting the announce book together because you guys are all such characters. So, again, that's something that we have. It's pretty unique that we can do because we get to know all you guys. What was SRP saying there? Was there any good food? Tell me about the food. Actually, Ron Ward brought bratwurst.
Oh, but I think the hands down winner, my wife made the Korean short ribs.
The Korean short ribs.
Everybody was eating those. But to tell you the truth, the hands down winner for the entire weekend food wise was probably Lambert's.
Yeah, well, Lambert's was really popular, as it should be, because we had a big car show. One thing we're going to have to do for next year, I'm already seeing, I believe we're going to request the east side because the west side, we just overflowed it. I mean, we have more cars than the west side would even hold. Remember, Dallas, we were over there looking at it, doing recon. And I said, well, it's a nice big area, right?
Yeah.
We filled it up and we're overflowing. Cars just kept coming in. So next year, we're going to try to get either the east side or the back so that we have even more room.
Well, they were very accommodating. I'm sure all we have to do is call them.
Yeah. And that was really cool, too. So there's a guy whose shop is behind the track. His name is Possum. I don't know what his real name is or if that's not his real name, but he's really cool, really helpful. Possum knows the owner of Lambert's, right? So he hooked us up. We gave him a heads up because we were going to do it either way. But he's like, no, man, you guys are welcome. We'll block off the lot and roll out the red carpet. And they did. They were great. Lambert's was really good to us. Next year, we're driving the jet to Lambert's. Well, assuming we do Jeffers again, then you can do that. That sounds great.
I hope you do Jeffers again. I really like that track.
Yeah, that's a great track. Really, it is. Dust Devil Garage Brian says we learned about grilled Slim Jims. They were grilling Slim Jims in the pits.
Oh, I didn't have any of those. That sounds like
Brian messages me after midnight and says, hey, man, you need to come back to the track. We've made a great discovery. It was grilled Slim Jims. Oh, goodness. Yeah, Bo's Breakfast and Barbecue. That's a Perpetual Project had. I got to tell you, I didn't
bomb too.
I didn't eat all day. I was too busy. Just, we got things we're going to iron out. I got a stack of tech cards on my desk. This is just part of them. We're going to iron some of this stuff out so that Dallas and I won't be quite as run ragged next year. But you don't know what you need until you do it, right?
Well, there is one thing that we've already discussed that I think is probably going to become the norm. Is tech is going to open on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And that way they can tech the cars that are already there on Thursday.
Yep.
Friday they can run some tech, and Saturday they can run some tech. So you're not lumping them all at one time.
Well, two, we're going to have a tech card just for this event. See, the tech card you had was a universal card that Jeffers uses. And that's why it had more information on it than we even needed, because it was made for that track. Okay? And it keeps track of winners' payouts to give them a 1099 and all that other stuff you didn't necessarily need. We'll make a tech card just for this event. And you'll have it in advance. We'll have it really streamlined. It'll work great next year. So there's all kinds of ideas for classes and such. What I will say is this. We'll talk about all of that stuff later. I know this. Everybody had a great time. And you know what? We'll try to perfect what we do have. People had a great time. It was the right balance. The schedule wasn't burdensome. So we want to keep it like that so that everybody has a good time.
That's what it was all about anyway.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Yeah, Perpetual Projects, we were there all 3 days. Yeah, it looks like Thursday's going to become a formal day of the event.
Even though it was a work day.
Yeah, James, that's cool. Listen, I'm all for a stick class. One thing that is, though, is we need to look at who's coming. The best thing, if you guys want a certain class at that event, find at least 8 people who are bona fide YouTubers who have the subscribers and get the class. That's the best thing. I mean, you know what? That's the thing. I mean, us just declaring that we can have a class doesn't bring them. So we'll develop it. The classes were good. I expect next year will be nothing but better. If we have everything we had this year, but it runs smoother, and a lot of the attrition, people who couldn't make it, stuff broke, things like that, if we get that back next year, which I expect this event will be double the size and run better. So next year will be everything good. This one wasn't better, hopefully.
Well, if it's double the size and runs better, it'll probably get done in half the time.
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to make everything smoother. Unfinished projects asking about subscribers. Still 500 to be determined. There are reasons why 500 is a good number, and there's reasons why 500 could be a little bit dated. We'll need to talk about that. So this is a debrief. This is not to announce new stuff. This is to talk about all the cool old business. There's a lot of great things. Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans got some seat time. Yes, I encourage you to parallel the No Name 500 guys for next season and develop that channel. And we're glad you were there.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you somebody that has already announced that they have a lifelong addiction to drag racing now, and that's Junk Car Willie.
Oh yeah,
Willie's all in. He loves it.
It is addictive. James and James says, make it 1,000. Let's get everyone monetized. There's a lot of things to consider in the number. Really, sub count is not necessarily the greatest way to do it, but it's the thing that's really right on everybody's page. You can see that's the thing that makes it a little easier to keep up with. As far as when we do things during the event, like the burnout contest, have it then, have it there. Well, there are reasons and considerations for everything. We'll talk about it in the off season. And we'd be glad to get some input from some of you guys who were in the event and maybe talk with some of you guys about some of these things. Big Block 402 says, no name 750. How about the no name 711? 11's my favorite number. It's arbitrary, right? Travis says he's going to go from a pit guy to a racer next year. Cool. That sounds great. Mostly Old Parts, Ron Ward says, another thing that really stood out for me about this race was the number of manual transmission cars we had in attendance. I was in heaven. Yeah. That's a cool thing about this event, too. Unlike a bracket race, these are guys running their YouTube creations. So if they wanted a manual transmission, they just put a manual transmission in the car. They didn't constrain their creativity to what they thought was more consistent on a track. They just built their ideas, their creations, and went out and raced them. And that is what I really want to see this event continue to do. I don't want it getting gamed so much, if that makes sense.
Right. It showcases the creativity and the fortitude of the YouTube content creator.
So just, we're asking you guys to trust the vision, but we have reasons for everything we did, and we only want this event to be better. So think about this. If from the beginning of the year we had been pushing an angle of this class and this class and this class, right, what would have happened? Everybody would have built toward the classes, and it wouldn't have been as diverse and exciting, right? There's no event any of you have been to in your life that had more diversity of rides than this. I mean, it was just wild and crazy stuff.
Well, go look at the picture I put out. I mean,
yeah.
There's a motorhome. There's a motorhome on the track in that picture. Every other drag strip in the country, if they took a picture like that, the motorhome's in the pits.
And this is the thing. Yeah, well, I'm fine with LS Fox bodies. We just don't want it to turn into the same cars because, okay, the epitome of this is Camaro Eliminator is what NHRA Pro Stock is, right? If you didn't know who's sponsoring who, could you tell any of those cars apart? We had exactly the opposite. Tell me how many cars look like Jezebel. I mean, we had all the creative, different stuff going on, and we want to keep it that way. We want to keep it that way. If you want so B&R who finished, who had at the end of September had 467 subs, says if you want lots of racing, 400 subs is plenty. No, I want lots of people to get on board, get their subs, turn out, have a good time. That's what I want.
Well, the 500, the reason why we came up with the 500, to be honest and fair about it, is that's when YouTube itself recognizes you as a content creator.
Yeah.
They give you a community tab. They give you access to the tools to measure how well your content's doing. That 500 number was the significance behind it. Really was that's when YouTube recognized you as a content creator.
Spencer's wanting 500 subs. Hey, Spencer, guess what? You've got close to a year. Go for it.
Get hot.
We showed you how it can be done, right?
Yeah.
These guys showed you how it could be done. Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly, Rich Rusnick there. He needs to be there. He needs to bring his cars out. Help him get his subscribers if he's interested. Shane Polito wants the slanted nationals mixed into it. Well, the slant 6 racers need to get their subs. That's an important part of that. If the slant 6 racers want to get their 500 subs, That's a possibility. But we'll talk about all this stuff to add into it without making any commitments now. I know one thing, the integrity of the event is extremely important. That's a big reason why we had so much good conduct at the event. That's one thing that made the event as good as it was people had that subscriber bar. And if you think about it, every participant there had to have their 500 subs. The announcer, Ron Ward, had to have his 500 subs. The sponsors, Eric and Buzz,
500 subs, and I was running the event.
Yep, Dallas, me, we all had to have it, right? It was fair across the board. So, because we wanted to make sure that we were serious about honoring all that hard work by the No Name 500 guys.
I'll tell you how serious we were. John and I had been offered many times throughout the entire announcement until the day of the event to have bracket racers come in and race with everybody else, test and tuners come in, and we were like, do they got 500 subs? Then no. And
no.
I mean, it was like,
that was free money.
The track was like, you guys are stupid. You're throwing away all this money. And we're like, no.
Free money.
What it does, it takes away from a guy like, say, Kim Barrows, who was out there in Idaho working at -4 degrees.
That's it.
Pushing the car in the garage, right?
That's right.
And it just dumbs down the work that he had to do if we just let some willy-nilly dude come in there and run with no effort put into it at all except for paying at the gate.
Dizzy Izzy's funny. Everyone there had a gun of some kind. Well, I hope so. It's one reason we stay safe. Yeah, 500 is just it's just a number, but it's a bar, and we agreed to that bar in the beginning, and we stuck to it.
Well,
and most of the old parts
wasn't the original idea of the 500 was if you had one sub, you could show up, and we didn't want an entire parking lot of people that nobody knew anything about and didn't build anything on YouTube.
Yeah, right. We wanted you guys to contribute to the spectator gate by having people who watch your channels. And you know what? That worked. We had a good spectator gate there, and it were people coming to see their favorite content creators. It worked. But it also weeded out the people who couldn't be bothered to invest in their channels. Now, I understand some people worked hard, came up a little short, but of the 65 channels in the No Name 500, 45 of them crossed the finish line. And we do want to do something for those other 20. We certainly want them to make it out with the rides. And some of them came out anyway. Like, I know that, and I just, I was running around, but I just know for sure that I saw Cultured Redneck Garage picking up his ticket. I mean, so he was there as a spectator, right? I mean, I saw several of the No Name 500 guys who didn't quite get their 500 still came out and had a good time and hung out with us. So that worked out great. We didn't have a single problem with that. Everybody was cool. They understood the rules. They were very gracious. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. We did not have a single problem person of any kind all weekend. That was wonderful.
Hey, so I think to make things simple is everyone's asking what the sub count number is going to be and this and that. Shoot for 500 right now.
Yeah, it's not going to be less.
If you got 500 and 750, well, guess what? You only got to get 250 subs.
Right.
But shoot for 500 right now.
Yeah, start working on it now. It's not going to be less. And original content. 500 of original content. Yeah, there was one guy that he's flying pretty high, but he was okay. He was just like,
I was like, I didn't know what to think because we're trying to give out awards, and this guy is just like rambling, and I have no idea who he is.
Just one of these things, right?
He was having a good time with the event, though. And you know what's funny is he was drunk as all get out, but he was hitting the nail on the head. Everyone out here is so cool. Everybody is so neat to talk to. They're personable, and they're exactly who they are on YouTube. And that's exactly what we thought was going to be great about the spectator being able to, the accessibility of the racer when drag racing is what makes the YouTube automotive content creator magic.
That drunk guy ended up in the intro and outro of the Daddy's Money Garage video. That's great. Nah, stuff like that happens. It's just the way it is. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people who I know are planning to bring it next year that may have come up a little short this year, and we hope that happens. We hope everybody who was there this year, we want to come back. There's not one person, Dallas and I said, man, we hope that guy didn't come. There's not one. So everybody was great. I have talked to Destroyer 1320. He's very interested in coming back to host yet again the Destroyer1320.com burnout competition. I expect it to only be bigger and louder and wilder and more people and more cars next year. It'll only be bigger and better. I can't think of one angle of this event that will not be bigger and better. Yeah, Dizzy's got a good point. Big shout out to Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley busted his ass all weekend. If you didn't know, the track staff consisted of me, Barkley, and Barkley's wife. And that was pretty much it.
And daughter, and Lindsay. So Barkley.
Oh, that's right. She was running. Yeah, she was running the tower. Lindsay.
Yeah, Barkley ran the track. Angie ran the gate. Lindsay ran the tower. And they were all stars. Great, great group.
And if you don't remember Barkley was the guy that ran around to everybody's pits, told them they couldn't race unless they subbed to Dizzy Izzy's channel.
Yeah, Barkley was just doing some guerrilla marketing for Dizzy. I thought that was cool. He was trying to help. Yeah, Big Block 402. The kind of people we had at that event, like Steven here. Barkley's cool. He apologized for the oil down. Well, we know you didn't mean to.
Dude, you had that just happens.
It happens.
You beat on him, that happens. We know you didn't do it on purpose.
Veros wants to buy 2023 tickets. One thing we probably will do, Dallas and I got to figure these things out, so we're not making any promises right now. We're probably going to just do the weekend wristband because we didn't know, will people buy them individually? Will they come one day or the other? And what we found is even the spectators, overwhelmingly, it's not even close, wanted to come to our event. What's that?
Did you freeze or was that me?
No, I'm not freezing. Actually, temperature's nice in here.
No, I mean like you lost your internet.
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Let's see here. Daddy's Money wants to rent a Penske truck and convince Blake to rent a U-Haul. Yeah, so one thing that Destroyers is interesting. He's talking about local promotion. Yeah. The neighborhood that we smoked up with cars in the burnout competition, they came out of their houses to watch and cheer. I thought that was really cool because they've never seen that before up there ever.
Let's see here. And we got to hammer out local promotion. We just ran out of budget for promotional stuff.
Yeah,
John and I figured the best bang for the buck was literally that billboard. Since Larry Jeffers offered it up, hey, you want to use this billboard? We're like, hell yeah, we do.
Yeah, see, we had to pay for the billboard itself, and we had to put it up, but we didn't have to pay rent on the billboard, which is a huge expense. So here's another thing, too. Locals will turn out what locals turn out, but it's getting your viewers to come out. That's a big deal. So if you guys want more turnout from spectators, we had a pretty good gate. We really did. But if you want more people coming out, mobilize your viewers to come out. Because there were a lot of channels that had a lot of their viewers there, some more than others.
Yeah, mobilize that heathen army.
That's right. And I got to say, and channels like that, man, they brought it. I mean, so there's certain things like I call Camp Bad Tree. So you have Blake and Jeremy and Duddy and Dodge Whisperer. That's Camp and J-Bo. You have Camp Bad Tree. Then you got like Camp Dust Devil. That's Brian and Jed and Bigfoot Mark. And so you have certain, camps of friends. And the camps brought it. They really did. Camp Dust Devil had, burnout competition winner, right? They brought it. Camp Bad Tree. Look at those guys. They were hammering down and putting on a great show all weekend.
And they grilled some awesome food.
Yeah. Can't say enough good about the way that the conduct and everything. Mongrels wants to build a car to drive down from Canada. Well, great. Do it. It will be south of Canada. I can say that. We're not going to have it in Canada. I think that's pretty safe to say, isn't it, Dallas?
I would actually say that's a very safe thing to say. Yeah.
It is the American Hot Rod Association, after all.
Well, but they're part of North America, but I don't have an A-track in Canada, so hands down, they probably won't get No Name Nationals up there.
Right.
Now, if we start getting a lot of folks from Canada, it would probably make sense to move the thing a little bit further north.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it will be nice to keep it in a free state. In other words, not Illinois. So,
I know.
We'll look around. We'll discuss it. A lot will go into this. We put a lot into this last decision to go to Jeffers. There are some things that I would really wish would happen with Jeffers to make it a little bit better for the event. But there's a lot. Jeffers has so much going for it. Like, for instance, you guys have all been to a lot of tracks in the pits, I'm guessing. When have you been to an 8th mile track that has that much paved flat pits with those nice long spaces and layout? When was the last time?
Have you ever been to?
Well,
when have you ever been to an event where it's like the pits are filled with camping gear, where everybody's camping there?
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like that. Everybody was camped out. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's, Jeffers has a lot going for it with facilities. There are some things we'll improve, and a lot of people have told us little things. I'm like, yep, that makes sense, and we'll explore them. Jeffers is a solid venue, Buzz says. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, yeah, people are all planning to build it. I mean, you've got around about a year, right? As far as the date, we're going to talk about the date. So, look, obviously, the sooner you get a date, the more choices you have. The later you get a date, the more you know what everybody else is doing.
The more you step on duct tape drags and everything else going on.
I gotta tell you, we got a competing event in Tucson, Arizona, and they have a rain out. I hate that for them, but it is pretty ironic that the event that's in the desert has a rain out.
It's all right. I usually get them.
Yeah. So, it wasn't about the racing as much as it was a big family reunion of YouTube content creators, and a racetrack was there. Got to understand, this one is so successful, we want to be extremely judicious in changing anything. This is something that causes a lot of things to fail. You have something that works, and people try to fix something that isn't broken. So we're looking at all the things that did work and that people loved about the event, and we don't want to just whimsically change that. We want people to have a good time again. So we're going to very judiciously change things think about it a lot and be very careful. And see, Big Block 402 here is exactly right. This event isn't about the fastest cars available. It's about the community. Yes, that is exactly what it's about.
It's a YouTube content creator trade show with some drag racing. And I mean, Deke put it the best. And I put it in the actual post I did, which is said we had a family reunion and it had a drag race breakout.
Frankenstein C20 says on the photo, we're going to sell posters of that photo. And remember, here's the thing about the photo. We want to sell posters of the photo. This event, we tried to make the entry fees as modest as they could be. We guessed everything up exactly right. Okay? Wasn't a lot of money to be made on this at all. But the event was in the black. And so anything like this, if we can sell, photos of like nice posters of that, if we can sell shirts, that's stuff that's going to feed that bank account to help us next year. Because there's a lot of expense, things people just don't even think about. Like, you think you grit your teeth when you pay your car insurance. See what the insurance is on this thing for a couple of days. EMTs. EMTs. I mean, there's so many just little expenses. Dallas and I just adding and adding and adding and adding. The internet. And when you do something on this, like a commercial scale like this, it's really expensive. But it was worth it. It was worth every dime. We also, if you notice,
if we would have done anything different, it would have changed the outcome of the event, honestly.
Yeah. The signage. You guys worked too hard to not have a 6-foot high, 20-foot long billboard greeting you at the gate. You needed to know that you were in the right place and you finally made it. We wanted nice, dive-on, hard guard wall signs. We wanted that place to look like the national event that it is, because it's not like anything else. So we really invested in some signage this year, most of which we're going to be able to reuse with some modest, changes. Obviously, we got to change inaugural to second annual. We're going to need to change dates on the billboard. We did have 3 banners get boosted out of there. I'm flattered that you wanted them, but you should ask, for the simple reason that comes out of the event's budget. Yeah, so Dust Devil, we had 3X shirts. Yes, we did. They just sold out. If you want any requests you have for shirts that were sold out, let me know. Shoot me a message. We'll take care of you. I'm going to do a makeup order with Schultz to take care of that. Yeah, so Barrow's Garage is talking about event insurance for a monster truck. Yeah, it's not cheap, but we needed it. And fortunately, we never had a claim. So we were really happy about that.
I don't know what they're going to think, though, when they see Dizzy Izzy's burnout competition.
Yeah, J-Bo, we had 3 of them just kind of get disappeared. But you know what? It's a compliment. It means they want the banner, and that's cool. But this is not a big corporate event where we just write it all off. This is different. This is not like going to a national event where as long as you wait till the end, they don't care. And yeah, Destroyer gave his banner. That's cool. I actually have some of the Destroyer banners. I'll put them up and recycle them. We just have a lot in it. And we've tried, like, for instance, if we had put the entry fee a lot higher, we could have probably budgeted more of that kind of thing. But we put a lot in it.
Yeah, this literally was bare bones, because when we found out there was 3 banners gone, John and I were like, damn it, that's another $200 we got to spend next year, right?
300. Well, and that's cool though. I'm glad that people love those logos and things. But remember, we started this event with nothing, and so we want to grow it. I'd like for this event to make a little money so that it can go back into the event. I did not take a penny from this. Nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, was that money went into the account for next year. So that money, we're already starting ahead.
Yep.
Like this year, we started at 0.
Right.
Matter of fact, less than nothing. 0.
Basically, we had to raise the first round of money to pay bills with, based purely on Dallas and I having enough credibility to get you guys to sign up on the idea that, hey, we have an event for you. Let's describe it. So thank all of you who had faith in us to sign up based just purely on what we described to you. Now that you guys have put on an incredible show, and there's all kinds of pictures and videos and all of that, yeah. Now that we have that, that's going to help a lot. Dean says, I'm worried about the dirty hippie and Mopar 383's tires ending up in a Chinaman's rice paddy or rare earth mine. Well, yeah, I got to tell you, William was trying to dig his way down to the core of the earth.
If he would have had a 60,000-mile tire on there, I think he would have made it.
And yes, we do appreciate all of you guys who came out in the first year and showed up. We appreciate that a lot. Yeah, Frankenstein. See, we've already got pre-orders on the posters, so I kind of figured as much.
So we need to finish it.
Yeah, definitely want posters. Yes.
Well, I was kicking around the idea of doing calendars as well. Wouldn't it be kind of cool to get like 11 really awesome pictures from the event.
That'll be easy. That'll be really easy. There are so many great photos to choose from. Yeah, we can do a calendar, be no problem. Actually, I was planning on that in January. I said, hey, come October, we're going to have that. Yeah, there's some drone footage out there. Wasn't quite as many drones I thought there might be because people were too busy having fun. But yeah, there's drone footage out there. There will be calendars. I would imagine that there's probably a good picture of a guy in a cowboy hat with a drive shaft twisted in two with a truck with dualies on the back that could make the calendar. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, did you see his video? Did you see his video where he was his short where he's wrinkling up the tires pretty hard?
Oh no, not yet. Yep. So like I said, anything we forget from posters of the the lineup to the calendars, again, it's going to go to the No Name Nationals. It's going to help us build next year.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a bigger budget for advertisement to the locals because all we had really. I'm telling you, but John and I sat down and thought this thing out. Where it's like, well, our budget is like really low. Let's see what we can get for airtime on the radio. Oh, okay. Well, you can get like 10 different announcements on the radio, and it's going to cost, our entire budget, and it's from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. when no one's listening.
Yeah.
TV, the whole entire budget was one commercial, and then we're like, man, billboard, that sucker's. It's going to be there for as long as we leave it.
One thing I'll say is I don't want people to get too worried about we have to have everything and we got to have it next year or we fail. It's not like that at all. The event was in the black. The event made money. All we need to do is keep doing what we're doing and just have a higher percentage of cars get done. A higher percentage of channels make it. You got to remember, No Name 500, we do it again. We add more No Name 500 guys, but we also get back the No Name 500 guys who made it before. This thing will keep growing. It will do fine. It will do great. We don't have to drastically change anything and throw money at this. We're going to lose the shop. No, it's nothing like that. So we want it to be good like it was this year, but we don't want to panic. We want to be judicious. Country Mile Garage is asking, can YouTube channels help sponsor the event? Yes. In fact, sponsors have to have subscriber minimums too, just like everybody else. But we can talk about it. So shoot me an email. My email's on my channel, john@princetondragway.com. We can talk about it.
But I'm going to be upfront. We're very selective because, one, you get no creative control.
No. I'll tell you, that's a big ask. But we said that to Buzz. We said it to Eric. I'm like, listen, guys, you don't get creative control. And this is the reason for that is because we want everybody to know, and you guys can absolutely attest, sponsors will not ruin this event. We're not going to let them.
And that's why we were so selective on who we chose.
That's exactly right. And we worked with wonderful sponsors. Buzz from Roadkill Customs and Eric from Destroyer1320.com were awesome. They are exactly the kind of people we want to work with. They're members of our community.
And it helped that they got the event right away. I mean, we had people approach us to sponsor the event, and they were just like willing to throw money at it because they saw people were interested in it, but they didn't get it at all. And we were like, yep, sorry, dude, we don't need you.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So we want to grow it right. I think what we did this year was wonderful. I'd do it again in a minute with no changes at all because it was a great time and everybody had a good time and everybody was safe. But anything that we grow is going to be an improvement and not just growing for the sake of growing. We could triple the car count, quadruple the car count next year easily if we just compromised on the core principles of the event. I don't want to do that, okay? Because this is your national event. And it would be so easy to let money talk and take that away from you guys. And I'm not going to do that. I want you guys to have confidence in us. We're not going to let that happen. There's a lot of corporate events that go on all over the country, and that's great. I have no problem with them. This is not one of those. So anyway, if you want to talk about sponsorship, shoot me an email. Can't hurt to talk. I see Kim must be in the house. I see a Kim there. Either Kim Barrows or Kim fixes things. Either way. Yeah. Thumper says grassroots YouTube channels getting together and racing for fun. Yes, that's what it's about. Yes. I see DW, so I'm guessing Dodge Whisperer's in here. Yeah, there's Dodge Whisperer. Well, SRP, we can talk about that. Okay? Like I said, we can talk. We're not gonna make any promises here, but we can talk. There's certain things that we're really hardcore about because they keep the integrity of the event. And sure enough, it paid off. The event we had would not have been as good if we had flexed on that. Let's see. Dodge Whisperer is the clean hippie. Maybe so. Ah, man, they're practically talking in code now. Yeah, Big Mike says this was the event for the rest of us. Absolutely, yes, it was. This is the event for the rest of us. If you have a top fuel car and you have a $10 or $15 million a year budget, this is not the event for you. I mean, if you want to bring it out and you have 500 subs, sure, you can do that. But your event was with another sanctioning body, right? But if you have something that you pulled out of a field or you built in your garage and whatever, this is your event. If you have your 500 subs or whatever that number will be in the future.
Yeah, if you got a 9-to-5 job and you don't have to have a budget of $100,000 to race all year, this is for the regular person. All you had to have was 500 subs.
That's it. And that number is absolutely attainable by anyone. And again, next year we're going to work toward that. Now the number won't be lower. So if you don't have 500, go ahead and work on 500 subs. Will we make little tweaks and changes to the No Name 500? Yeah, probably. But again, it's got to serve its purpose. Let's see here. How about best garage done paint job? This is from a guy who just painted his truck, his beautiful 1990 Dodge truck. Destroyer is.
You know what? That's one thing I guess maybe I should ask everybody. How did you guys like the hidden car show that was happening in the background? Monkey bikes with go-karts. Oh, I don't know about that.
Look, a lot of people have made investments in the bike and are already up in the ante in the bike. I've actually gotten better feedback on the bikes than I thought. What I can envision, again, no guarantees, okay? The event just happened, and we haven't announced for next year yet. But I can see the bikes coming back and being faster because it seems like there's a lot of demand for that, actually. Oh, this is cool. So, Dizzy.
Originally, okay, so when John and I had put that together, the idea was, think about somebody who doesn't have a channel. It doesn't even have any subscribers or anything. If they found out about this event, they wanted to participate, the easiest thing they could do is literally go buy one of those bikes for, well, at the time they were $400 and now they're like 500 or 550. And all you had to do is start making content and you'd have 500 subs and then you could race your bike and there was essentially a class for you.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't want to get too heavy on the idea of classes because you guys just want to run your creations. That's why we did it.
That's why everything was broad and general.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then when Ryan Wing brought in the 28-10-5, it was like, wow, that's just enough broad and general that it would actually fit in with what we got.
Poor boy's garage got his Iraq flashbacks from Streetcar Chronicles. I guess all that banging that was going on over there in Michael Bolton's pit.
Oh, dude.
Buff got PTSD from
somebody saw me. I was literally walking over there to talk to him to see if I could help. And the thing blew up. I think it was Levi's wife or girlfriend. That thing, she started laughing at me because, I mean, it popped loud. And I stopped right where I was at and she started laughing. Did you get hit? And I'm like, no, I just don't know if I want to go near the car right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though, for a guy that was having trouble getting the car sorted out and towed up here from Texas, 2 of them came up, towed up from Texas, showed up, gave it everything they had. I give them a ton of credit.
Oh, yeah.
Give them a ton of credit.
If you show up at a race with an untested car, you get a lot of credit from me. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
in all honesty, that's a hard thing to pull off right there.
I would say Streetcar Chronicles is one of the teams I can see coming back next year and having it all sorted out.
Man, I want to see them and James race.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I can see that people will bring into next year. 113 cycles. Ryan says he was waiting in the tech line behind it when it fired up. He's going to need therapy. Yeah, I'll tell you, things happen. But I'll tell you what, they get an A for effort. They tried really hard. And there was a lot of people that needed to get things sorted out, but that was the nature of it. But I'll tell you, we probably had less breakage. That surprised me. I figured we'd have more breakage than we did. Really, we only had 2 oil downs. One was a minor one was a major one. So, you know what? That's better than I thought we'd have.
Well, and when the biggest oil down award thing, or the worst oil down is what we ended up calling it, but when the biggest oil down thing came up, when I was live with Uncle Tony, he brought it up initially and just kind of made it up right on the spot, right? And everybody wanted it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Crap. And I'm assuming that there's going to be and just like I'm assuming he thought the same thing, that there was going to be a lot of oil downs.
Yeah.
And
actually, what he said was, he jokingly said, I'm going for the biggest oil down. And Dallas said, okay, we'll make an award for
it. Yeah.
That literally happened like that. Here's the video. Speaking of oil down, this is what happened in the this was on the track cleanup after Big Block 402 threw that connecting rod out of the block.
Yeah.
Literally can just surf in the oil. Most of the old parts there's asking, when the last time you saw that many drive shafts break? Perpetual Project broke 1 or 2. I'm not sure if they broke 1 or 2. You guys, Travis, correct me.
Perpetual Project broke 2, as far as I know.
I know he broke at least 1, maybe broke a second one. I found part of the U-joint from one of them. And then, of course, Chad, Square Body Stuff, he twisted his in 2. And that looked like a new drive shaft, too. It was good stuff. It was heavy wall, 3-inch.
2 Hacks Jeff ended up with all the Carnage leftover offerings to the gods of speed from Perpetual Projects, because I was out there cleaning it up, and I noticed that's the first time I'd ever seen one of them break a drive shaft, and it literally broke the U-joint caps in half.
Yeah.
And that never happens.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, those things are hard as a coffin nail, right? So the roller bearings were everywhere, all over the starting line. And I told Barkley, I said, I think I'm going to have to go get a magnet to pick all these up.
Yeah. So if you're on here, Big Block 402, Stephen, I would love to have one of the pistons and rods, preferably the one that's snapped in 2, to hang up here on the wall. The most offending part is what I'd like to have. Because I have one that came out of Andy Wood's truck, Casper. I was filming the truck when this one departed the engine. And then this one is out of the Nacho Cuda Bad Tree Productions. So I would love to have one from your engine, Stephen, to hang here on the wall. It's worthy.
Is that the GAC wall?
This wall right here is when I wanted to have a part failure from the spectacular parts failure of this event back here to add to this.
Well, oh man, I wonder if Jed's probably going to keep his output shaft.
Yeah, I figured he will. Well, I'd say this. If Jed does want his output shaft to be here on this wall, I will put it on this wall. I haven't asked him, but if he does, absolutely. Yes, Big Block 402. Certainly no rush, but it's got a spot here. Square Body, that would be great. That would be great. I would love to have a piece of that for this. That would be fine. Actually, there are some traditions I'll mention that are coming out of this event that I think are great. I think that one Ryan put out there is fantastic. So Ryan from Street Car Chronicles, aka Michael Bolton, he has that duck, and that thing is going to go. It's like a award, by the people for the people, and it's going to come back to that event every year. So I think that's really cool. I think that's so neat. So I got to tell you, the studio here, I'm getting ready to change some things up in here, make some new artwork, and having a souvenir from the pit thrash like that, like a Squeaky's drive shaft or something, yeah, I'll do it. Put it up right across the top or something. I'm down for that. That's great. Or maybe in the corner, standing up, because it's got the right story. It should be there.
Right. Well, what about Austin was on here? Where's his aileron bushing?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that's broken. But and Perpetual Projects are going to document the journey of that bird over the next year. Yes, exactly. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's what we want to see. So Stephen Holtz has gears for next year. Okay, yeah, exactly. You're gonna bring the Fairlane next year? I hope so. I tell you, that Stephen Holtz Fairlane, people loved that car. People loved that
was
car.
Actually, when he changed the gears in it, that thing was quick. It got down the track pretty good. It was all right.
That car, as I recall, got some votes on the People's Choice. People really liked that car. John says there was no bushings left in the idler arm. Oh yeah, The upper control arm. I only have one upper control arm bushing in my swinger, where the other one just came out. That's one thing I had to do years ago on it.
Well,
it turned left with the brake pedal.
So John and I were actually watching that tire change caster and camber as it went down the track, and then when John put on the brake, the car went immediately to the left, and we're like, all right, we're going out in the pits to find John, who was running the car, and tell him he can't make another pass. This car is not safe.
Yeah. So Busted Radial Garage is saying I need to start the countdown numbers. Yes, I'm going to. As soon as we have, look, here's what you guys is going to happen. When we fire up a live and there's a number back here, that's when we're going to announce the date. So as soon as we go live, when you see a number here, that's when you know we have a date.
And a place.
That's it. Yeah, for real. For real. That's when we have it. When you see it on that orange card. Yeah, Daddy's Money, they made it to the end of the event. You did, but you didn't have another pass left. But you did. It's all that matters.
And you guys, and you weren't easy on that car all weekend. Austin, during the burnout competition, absolutely murdered the passenger side rear on that thing as the posi unit, or whatever is that, a track lock, or what is it in the Mopar world? Sure grip?
It's a sure grip.
Yeah, the sure grip let go.
Destroyer saying put a question mark on the orange paper until then. No, because a question mark, the trolls will say, oh man, there's a question mark. We're not going to have an event. No, there's no question. We're going to have another event. We just need to get a date. So when you see a number appear, that means we got the date. And then off we go again. Let's see here. Red Eyed Patriot says he hopes to make it next time. LS square body. Yeah, of course, but make it out.
I'd like to move it 1 week earlier if we could.
Well, we got to see what else is going on. We don't want to stack up on top of other things. Although 1 week earlier, hey, man, that weather-wise sounds good to me.
Yeah, the weather was awesome while we were out there, and it's like, if we got there 1 week earlier, there really wouldn't be much difference in weather. But we would be stepping on a lot less events, right? Like that.
Well, maybe
festival would be going on.
That festival didn't matter. What did matter is the Bowling Green Ford event.
Right. Well, I was gonna say the Bowling Green Ford event wasn't happening. The
maybe
duct tape drags wasn't happening.
Duct tape didn't wind up even being a factor. I will say that I would.
Well, they picked up our 1%.
I'm open to moving the date a little bit. We just need to see what makes sense. And since we are up on the wheel on getting our date earlier than they are, all these other events, that makes it harder. So whatever is competing with that September time frame, shoot me an email. Let me know, guys. If it's something that you know of or that kind of thing, let me know. So, for instance, I know that Race Week was right before this event.
Drag Week.
Yeah, I think Rocky Mountain Race Week was right before. So let me know, if there's anything like that that's kind of a conflict. I know that I went up after the No Name Nationals. I went up to St. Louis to go see Bigfoot One. I've never seen it in person, and they said that they had just gotten back from the Ford event in Bowling Green, so they may know before the rest of us know when that event is. I'll ask them. I got a contact over there, so yeah, exactly. A Mo party's 2 weeks before, right? So we want to try to balance these things. We want you guys to be able to go to all the events you want to go to, including this one. I mean, we're not trying to compete on the dates with anything. But there's only so many. There's 365 days on a calendar, and we've got what we've got. So we're going to do the best we can do. And there's a 100% guarantee that any date we pick,
there's going to be
somebody's else. Oh, I can't do it now. We did the best we can do.
Yeah, well, just like I said at the beginning of this last one, 2022, if you think about it, 365 days a year, there's only 25 weekends, right? Like in racing season that you could hold this event.
Ron Ward saying we ran the same weekend as ECTA in Blytheville and national event in St. Louis.
Yes, the NHRA national event was in St. Louis that same weekend.
But Blake is saying there are no better events than the No Name Nationals. Hear, hear.
I agree. I don't know who this Blake guy is, but he's killing it tonight.
Well, Dallas and I developed the event that we would want to do as participants, right? Like this is the event that we would do if anything we could do. Like bring out the T-Bird, bring out the dart sport. I'm all for it. Yeah, I
wanted to be there more than anybody else racing. I really did. I'm telling you,
Patrick
the racer. Well, the racers at the track are like, "Oh, have you ever raced before?" And I'm like, "I'll explain it to you how I feel watching you guys race. I am a crack fiend that doesn't do crack, and everybody around him is doing crack. And that's I want to race so bad."
Well, most of the old parts of the rest is I've already made my decision. No roadkill nights, no Mo party, only No Name Nationals to see my friends. I tell you, that we appreciate that. That puts a lot on us, but we delivered this year. We're going to deliver next. So check this out. I'm going to give you a little preview here of something. Speaking of dart sport, I'll show you one picture, and you're not going to get anything with the picture.
I can't even see what that is.
Okay, so it's okay. I won't even tell you what it is, but it's got my name on it. The number 500 says custom built for John Wilburn. If you want to know what that is, you have to watch Cope Racing Transmissions channel. John at Cope Racing Transmissions, if you want to find out more about that.
Okay. Well, it's not a C4 Ford then.
You don't know what it is yet. You got to go over there and find out.
What's on Cope Racing Transmissions? I doubt it's a C4.
Well, you never know what's going to be over there.
Well, I guess so.
Max Wedge Dick Dastardly says, end of September is worst time possible for me. It's always going to be the worst time possible for somebody. So yeah, when you find out what we're doing for power, even more so. But no, that's a lot of fun. I know Cope had a blast. John Cope had a good time. Uh,
Andy
he
Wood
he
had a
had
good time.
he had more fun He had more fun with us, riding around in Haney. I took Haney to dinner. Andy took it down the track. We had a good time. Calling TV. I'm not sure. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll see if I can dig that up. I've gotten so many messages. So here's Mopar's Mustangs and minivans and Garrett from Daddy's Money Garage posing up in front of the billboard. We got lots of great pictures like that. I think are cool. Cave Dave says it was a fun weekend. Absolutely, it was a blast.
Oh, I do want to apologize to the people that I didn't recognize when we were doing that because like I was literally going out of my mind, and people were trying to talk to me, and I'm like, hey, I only spent a few minutes chatting with them, and if I didn't get enough time with you, hopefully, I'll catch up with you next year. John and I have a plan in place, hopefully, that will give us a little bit more breathing room next year.
We're working toward it. We're working. Mostly Old Parts says No Name Nationals was unique in that it was pure. It was a bunch of people who wanted to be there, not for money, not for sponsors. The participants were there to have fun and enjoy each other's cars and camaraderie. Yes, and we're glad for it to grow, but we don't want it to change from that. Dallas and I are kind of in an interesting position here. It's kind of a good problem to have. When everybody has that good a time, you got to be really careful making any kind of changes.
That's true.
Seriously, we're not gonna take anything lightly. We can't risk anybody not. How do you top what you did? Well, we're not trying to necessarily top it. We'd like to see it grow. We like more people to have an opportunity. We want to make it better, but we do not want to lose what we had.
Right. I wouldn't be upset if it was another one just like we had.
Oh yeah. Day and night, those pits were wonderful. Everybody behaved. Everybody had a good time. It was great. We just can't risk not having that again. That's what we want. And everybody was great. Everybody was respectful. It was great. Everybody was just awesome. We're gonna make sure to keep that. Obviously, when you grow, you've got to have certain things in place, some certain guardrails. This year has shown us rules that are going to need to exist for next year, obviously. But I'm very libertarian in that I'm hands off of these things. I don't want to make rules on people who don't need them. Like, for example, a rule we don't need to make? We don't need to make rules about trash because you guys left the pit spotless. So why do we need to create rules on that? You guys did it. You were great. That track didn't even need to have the sweeper run or anything. But there's little things we need to do to make sure people do what they need to do. And this crowd I cannot say enough good about this crowd. What wound up happening is that the doers turned out and the dreamers did or did not, but the doers turned out. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody was responsible. We didn't have any fights or anything. We didn't have any problem with alcohol or anything like that. I think that's a good thing. So we're good with that. Yeah, Buff says dreamers dream and doers do. Yes. Nothing wrong with dreaming, but we don't want to pretend that dreaming is doing when it is not. Yeah, you guys are doers.
Dreaming doesn't get you down the track at No Name Nationals.
Dreaming does not get you to the 660. No, it does not. Although this is kind of funny on a side note. This is true. I forgot all about this. So I stayed up really late working on something last night. I was so beat, and I had to be somewhere at 6:15 this morning, right? So I wound up taking me a nap about 7 o'clock this morning for about an hour, and I actually dreamed I was driving the Nacho Cuda. I don't know why, but okay. I dreamed I was driving an Nacho Cougar. Isn't that wild? NSB says, or John says, tells NSB camping is the way to go. Yeah, we had a lot of camping. That was great. I expect we'll see more camping next year. Track and travel with Rick. Rick Jure says the camping was awesome. I agree. Camping was fun.
I like the community cookout.
Yes. Yeah, now this is a good point, and understand, Shopcat said there were a lot of doers who did their best, like Nolan. Oh yeah, absolutely. Nolan is a doer. Nolan caught a really bad break. I get it, but make no mistake, Nolan is a doer. Nolan was on top of the roof of a hospital in the winter in Canada working. He is a hard-working guy. He makes it happen. And even though he had some really bad break and couldn't get down here with Sergeant Stubby, he showed me a time slip on that car. That car's not slow. So I would say there's a really good chance Sergeant Stubby and Nolan will be here in 2023 at the No Name Nationals second running. So, yeah, absolutely. Nolan's a doer. Nolan is the most doing guy I think I've ever met.
Well, his is a lark, right?
Yeah.
So that would make 2 larks at the track if Al brings his.
Well, Slaghammer was supposed to run Nolan in Sergeant Stubby.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, so if Al winds up with a lark, that would be really interesting. That might be a neat rematch. Rabbit Transit had a good experience camping. Yeah, I may camp next year. We'll just see how everything works out. Yeah, Slackhammer's first car in. Yeah, Al was the first person there.
Yeah, we were hanging up that big 6-foot by 20-foot banner. And I don't know if you guys got it, but when John and I put that banner up, and you actually see it for real, like when you come in the gate, it gave me chills.
That's right.
Just seeing that big banner, and it's like it's all coming to fruition, and you earned this.
Yeah, it was important to me that you guys knew that you made it. Yeah, so first car pulled in was Slaghammer. Second car pulled in was Jack Pine Savage, and I think third was probably Brad from Poor Boys, and it was great. Thursday was a nice pace. Thursday we had plenty to do, but it was a nice pace. Dallas and I worked early till late all through Wednesday, got as much done as we could. So to come Thursday, I'd check people in, but it was a nice pace. Friday, not so much. Friday was jamming. Yeah, Kim Fixes Things did the first burnout.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Came through the gate and did a burnout.
Yeah, Stephen Holtz, he had some oil pressure problems and still rallied and came on. Okay. Ron Ward wants to know, so what was everyone's favorite food from the concession stand? I really enjoyed the walking taco. It's a good question. Mexican Spec has entered the chat. Buzz says the Baconator. Dizzy says the biscuits and gravy. Oh, this is a good point. Chat's moving on me. Streetcar Chronicles. After this live, okay, here in 20 minutes, will be the premiere on Streetcar Chronicles of their video, but it'll be after this. We will wrap up on time. You guys will have plenty of time to head over there, and I'm heading over there too. So just wanted to get that in and remind everybody, Streetcar Chronicles, their video premieres immediately after this live, and I'll head over there too. We'll make sure we wrap up on time for you guys. Because Ryan's going to have some good footage. He always puts out good video. That concession stand was hopping. Yes, it was. That line never ran out all weekend. Darren thanks us for all the videos. Yeah, there were all kinds of streams going. We had streams going on my channel. do the best we can, but there was no lack of video coming out of there.
I took one picture the entire weekend.
I didn't take many. I took a selfie with Dizzy Izzy. I did that. I took a good picture of William in the burnout competition. I did do that because I was that's I got to watch about half of the burnout competition, and that was good. And I got to watch some of it from the tower, but we were hustling up there. So we got things to iron out and make run smoother, and we will, because now we've run the first one. We know what we need to do. Biscuits and gravies, popular there. Yeah. They did a good job. Sounds like people were happy with the food.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, Square Body Stuff says if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't have had any footage. Yes. I got to meet a lot of you guys' wives, and that's pretty cool to meet some of the people who aren't on camera, but they're an important part of your channel. And that's cool. I'm glad. So a lot of people brought their family out. That was nice.
My wife made sure I ate, right? Because I'm diabetic. So she would tackle me and shove food in my mouth.
Daddy's money. They watched their own video 3 times to relive the weekend. Yeah, I was too close to it to watch it and enjoy it, but it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I was really thrilled and happy to be there. It was different working it than participating. I've talked with Dallas a little bit about this. And it's like, imagine if Dallas and I were participants and we weren't running this. Think of the content we'd be putting out, the call outs we'd be making. Man, we'd be throwing down. Because we made the event for us, but we made it for all of you. This is cool. See, this is the kind of, I love reading stuff like this. Dust Devil Garage says, my mom and dad can't wait until next year. We're making plans. That's great. This is the kind of stuff I wanted to hear. And Sam said that his son is a gearhead now, right? That's the kind of stuff that I want to read. Families came. They had a good time. It was family friendly, which it was. You guys were respectful of the families there, and people want to come back, and I love that. Ron says the Korean short ribs were meat candy. Mexican Spec says, who's looking for a clean car to start a new build? Probably a bunch of people.
Well, didn't Stephen Holt's son run away with Kim Barrows' Ranchero?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think Stephen Holt's son,
that is great,
ended up with Kim Barrows' Ranchero. I think Kim's
that
in
is
here.
Great.
He'll try to straighten me out.
I want to see that. Did Dust Devil run his Duster? SRP asks. No, unfortunately not. The Duster, Brian tried, but it didn't quite make it there. So hopefully we'll see the real life Hot Wheels Duster next year. Yeah, Stephen Hote says we have a 302 ready to go in it. Well, man, that's great. I want to see that at No Name Nationals next year.
Well, I told you I was going to send you some pistons, Stephen.
Yeah.
What was the last one? I didn't even see the last one.
That's fantastic. Love it. That is great. Yeah, we had a wonderful time with you guys. I think that a lot of things we did worked overall, but what we changed, we're only going to be to make things better, but we're definitely working from the framework we have. See, that's the good news. Because if you put on an event that's a failure and has a bad framework, you can't just adjust. You got to scrap it and start over, right? Not this case. The framework is obviously great because people loved it. But see, now we got to do is try to make that better and better. But the framework obviously, works. Blake has a D200 for sale. I know there's a video where you can see it. And if Blake is selling her D200, there's a hint that there's something else getting ready to fill that spot in the driveway. J-Bo says, thanks for the coffee. You know what? I'd be willing to bet that J-Bo's coffee maker is not one of these computerized ones. What do you guys think?
It's a French press.
Ron Ward is bringing a bigger grill. He's going to be towing one of those big commercial grills behind the Roadrunner. Towing it behind Gladys. Oh, man. Dutch guys are saying the tow rig put itself in park at 55 miles an hour the Monday before. Didn't get to do anything. Yeah, man, that's a bummer. Yeah, the one-eyed cat, Don there, says, don't care about Carlisle, No Name Nationals on my mind. Well, you know what? Carlisle's a lot of fun. And that's a chance to hang out with Don and Mopar Den and those guys. So, you know what? Carlisle's great. This is great, too. As long as I get to see you guys, that's what's important. Unfinished project missed the inaugural event, but feels deeply embedded in the foundations. We'll be there next year if you at all can. We'd love to see you. Not that we know who you are because you'll be wearing a luchador mask, but we'd like to see you. Tall Garage wants to do a hand on the van giveaway. Most of the old parts is asking if the D200 is a swept line. I don't believe, but Blake can tell you he's in here.
I think it's that good-looking one, like 77, 78.
I think it's earlier than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like the 72. It's a 10 grill, but I can't remember. He's in here. Streetcar Chronicles says, y'all are good people. Yeah, the chat in here, this community, got 120 in here right now. Great people. Buck Does It's in here. Buck Does It, the inaugural winner of the Cinderella Award. How about that? So many worthy people that could have won that. Oh, look at this. Now, so Blake is saying it's a 73. It has a Dana 60, a 360, and a 727. That's a nice combo. Nice combo. I think that would make a great tow rig. Man, get with Blake if you're interested in that. He says it's a roller. That's just what was in it. Get with Blake if you're interested in that. SRP says that I make the first video for the NNN. Who did make the first video? I don't think it was SRP, but I'm trying to remember who it was.
Was making the first video or posting the first video?
Yeah, who posted the first? I don't know now.
I think Al made the first video.
Did he?
He was the first one in the gate and did like a.
Oh no! No, I mean like the first from the planning, the first hashtag video.
Oh! I don't know.
No, I'm sure Al made the first video there, unless it was Dallas and
I don't think we did a video until we started pulling the stuff out, right?
Yeah. Did you put up the one of us using the engine crane to pull the stakes for the big sign?
Oh, yeah. And then all the trolls came out. Yeah. This is dumb, blah, blah, blah. I could do better. All right.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they could.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could do better. They did, well, yeah.
I told the guy I scoured his channel and I couldn't find another video of him taking stakes out, so shut the hell up.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So Blake's saying 2,500 to the heathens or trade for a big block speed stuff for car trailer. Hey, Blake wants to wheel and deal, so get with him. That sounds really cool to me. For a 73 long bed, 3/4 ton, Dana 60, that's a cool tow rig right there.
And that would be perfect for that, what we had talked about, John, where you just do the Stroker 318 setup with Magnum heads.
That's what's going in the van.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that in the van. The van is great. The van has been on since March. The van has been on 6 trips over 400 or 500 miles each way. And I've had problems equaling 0. The van is great. But it doesn't have enough power to tow. So The van, I would say, will eventually have a stroker 318 Magnum head, have some power, and that's what will become the tow rig.
Or somebody could do a stroker poly. I think that'd be a killer tow rig motor too.
Yeah, poly's neat. I don't know how it would fit in a van because
I'm
it's
talking about like that
wider.
truck. That
Yeah. Oh yeah.
truck.
Oh yeah. Now truck. You have all kind of room. Of course, I don't know. They put big blocks in vans, so. Yeah, Robert Magny has a 390 stroker. I'm curious to see his dyno numbers on that. That cam has a real different grind to it. So, Destroyer 1320 says he's bringing his big block next year. I guess in the Dart, right? Mexican Spec says, anybody here looking for a 69 F100 short bed 302 5-speed? How cool.
I bet Stephen Holtz would be all over that sucker.
Man, that is cool. I had a friend in high school had one of those. He had a 60 was a 69 F100. His was a 302 with a 3 on the column. Cool truck. It was red. And before he had that truck, he had a 71 4-wheel drive with the step side, and he had it on 40-inch Gumbo Monster motors. I thought that was really cool. Barrows is a Poly 318 will make a great tow rig. Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that a bit. Most of the old parts says he's heading out. Pleasure catching up. Yeah, likewise, man.
Yeah,
come to our Friday Lives anytime.
I'm going to roll out here, too. I got a bunch of miles left to drive.
Yeah, we're getting ready to shut down here. We got just a few minutes left. If any of you guys have any last questions, thoughts, stories you'd like to share from the event, now's the time to get them in, because in 6.5 minutes, it's going to be time for the Streetcar Chronicles premiere of his video. So we'll get to watch Ryan's footage, and I'll be over there too. SRP says, did I make the first donation to Vizard's Children's Hospital? Maybe. You might have. By the way, I did do that. So all the settle up with St. Jude's, I did that when I got back.
How much was it total, John?
The second amount that I sent was $17.40. That's what we needed to do to square up the pot. So $17.40 is what I sent them on whenever I got back, Wednesday or whatever. So you can actually see that on the online donation link. So did that, and then we sent. We actually had a balance on the fuel relief fund, which I think says a lot about our community, in that people didn't just graze on it. It was need-based, and it worked out. So there was a balance left, and I put that back in Buzz's hands. So I thought that was really great of Buzz. We really appreciated that. So, yeah, the rest, all the accounting is finally squared up this week. So, Brewer says, wish I'd have had my clutch dialed in before. Didn't think he was sandbagging. It was slipping every run. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, anytime you're running your stuff hard. But you guys showed up. You put on a good show.
I need to pick his brain. I need to get this super stock Buick going with that 4-speed.
Well, those guys know the 4-speed stuff.
Yeah.
Bus Garage has got up a link to the Streetcar Chronicles premiere. I'm going to be headed over there here in just a few minutes. We'll close down here in just a few minutes and head over to Ryan's. J-Bo says thanks. Aaron says, is the plan to have this event back in Sikeston again? We talked about that earlier. I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the future. It is definitely in the running to go back to Sikeston. The name of the track may well change, because if it sells, it probably won't be called Jeffers Motorsports Park, but the same track, very likely. Good possibility. Dizzy says, it's a pleasure meeting everyone. Yep. Bad Tree says later. Yep. Yep. Bus Garage is a mid-year meetup. Hey, that's cool, but there's only one No Name Nationals. Okay, there's only one. Patrick says thank you. Well, we appreciate the thank yous. We do. It was a ton of work. We thank you. But to tell you what, it is 3.5 minutes until time for the Streetcar Chronicles premiere. So there's a link to it on here. Buff's Garage put up. Buff, you can go ahead and pop that link back up in case anybody wants to get it again. I'm going to head over there. I want to thank our mods. I want to thank Andy, Joe, Blake, Ari, Buzz, Buff. Those are our mods. They keep everything running smoothly. I want to thank everybody who turned out tonight because we had a good-sized crowd in here. We had, I think, 125, 130 in here at one point. So just know it's coming. The orange paper is blank. When you see a number appear up here, it means we have a date.
And a place.
So, yep. Dallas, safe travels. Thank all of you guys. And I'm going to head over to Streetcar Chronicles and hope to see you guys over there too. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, John. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.